Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. Today we're at Land Rover of Shreveport to take a look at the 2023 Land Rover Range Rover SV. This is the new top trim level for the Range Rover lineup, and it definitely has a strong on-road presence. The front seats are very comfortable. There is a good bit of space within the interior for the driver and the passengers, and a lot of features, technology, quite a bit going on here in the way of the ability to customize. Now, one thing I do want to point out, since you're seeing it on the screen right now, that flickering effect on the lights, that is due to the shutter speed of the GoPro I'm using to film today's video. That is not something you can actually make the lights do. I have people ask about that occasionally. So I wanted to make sure that I pointed it out, but we're going to take a look at this model and see if it has the right features for the right price. For 2023, changes include the SV being the new top trim level. The new plug-in hybrid model debuts with an estimated range of 48 miles, and the SV is now the top trim level. And gone is the first edition as far as being the base trim level. And we'll take a quick look at what we have here with the exterior of this particular model. As you would expect, you're going to have LED lighting in quite a few different places. That's going to help things to stand out, a little bit more of that luxurious look to it. And the unique to this trim level, front grille. That's what we're going to have in this particular case. Give you a good look at that. You're going to have your Land Rover logo right there in that traditional spot. And the raised lettering for Land Rover here on the front of the hood. In a lot of cases, it doesn't necessarily, I don't know, I wonder sometimes if it shouldn't be something that's maybe sunk into the hood. But in this case, I think the raised lettering actually does a nice job. You do have the Carpathian gray exterior color, and as far as the remote goes for 2023, it looks the same, unless you have the SV trim level and you turn around and look at the back. You don't have that Land Rover logo back there, you have the SV logo, something that's just a little bit different. And as you can see here, we have the turn signal indicators built into these power adjustable, heated, and power folding side view mirrors. You will also have the door handles that will mount flush into the doors. When you lock the vehicle, they go inside, and that's helpful in a multitude of ways, not only as far as just giving it a nice clean look, but also giving an improvement for aerodynamics. And you will find the soft close doors. I'm just going to barely close that. If you're not familiar with what that means, soft close means that you just barely close the door. If you don't close it all the way, well, we have to push a little bit further than that. There we go. It will go ahead and close itself. That's kind of nice because, you know what? In the old days when we didn't close our doors all the way, we would kind of just bump against the door to finish closing it. You probably wouldn't want to do that with this particular model just because it's so high end. And as we work our way around, you'll obviously see the rear privacy glass. We're going to have the dual shark fin antennas and the rear roof spoiler to finish things off here on a very clean rear window. Why is it so clean? Well, not only because it's sitting here in the showroom at Land Rover of Shreveport, but because the rear window wiper is neatly concealed away within the rear roof spoiler. We're going to have our Range Rover logo right here on the rear and the SV badge prominently displayed. And we took a look at the tail lights earlier, but just to show you what those look like, obviously very bright, very easy to see. And power to motivate this Range Rover SV to get down the road comes from a 4.4 turbocharged 8-cylinder engine. It makes a more than plentiful 523 horsepower. The torque numbers come in at 553 pounds-feet. Going to have the cover here that, well, I think actually looks nice. Usually I don't like seeing a lot of plastic on these vehicles, but if you're curious to see what it looks like underneath, well, there you go. In this case, it does seem to be somewhat tastefully done. You could actually just take that off and leave it off if you wanted to. And obviously, this is an all-wheel drive model. And we're going to take a quick look at the MPGs. What do we have where that's concerned? 16 city, 21 highway, 18 combined. And Land Rover says you should use 5.6 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. With all that horsepower and torque, that's not too bad as long as you can keep your foot out of it. And if you're curious to know how much gas your gas tank can hold, 23.78 gallons is what Land Rover says. It does not have capless fuel fill, so that should be good news for a lot of you because I know you prefer that to be the case. Obviously an all-wheel drive model. How about tire and wheel size? 285 on the width. We're going to have a 40 series sidewall wrapped around those nice and large 23-inch wheels. All right, guys, I had to fire the engine up because the battery was a little bit low, so hopefully you can still hear me well. You do have a power rear door here. You have the split tailgate as well. This model will tow up to 8,200 pounds, and it has a cargo capacity of 83.5 cubic feet. You can see that you have quite a bit in the way of lighting back here as far as your cargo lighting goes, and you have the power adjustable. You can actually use the power feature here to lower or raise the cargo cover back here. Kind of an interesting little feature. And there is a spare tire. It is a full-size spare tire mounted on a 23-inch rim, and obviously you can lower your seats down. We'll take care of that real quick. It's a little bit of a process. It takes a little bit of time. I'm going to show you these moving back and forth. It's a little hard to do with the cargo cover here, but we can move the seats. And there we go. We've got the seat moving now so that you can see that going down as it should. Now, there's quite a bit that you can do here as far as different functionality goes. You can obviously lower down both sides. We're just going to do one to save some time here. You also have the ability to raise and lower the vehicle on the air suspension. And there we go. We're getting the other side to go down for you as well. But what I'm going to do is raise the air suspension for you just so that you can see that there is a difference. It was in its lowest position earlier, the most aggressive looking position. In case you were curious about that, yes, you can raise that up. I'm going to drop it back down here real quick, but just to show you some of the features and the functionality back here as to what you can actually do with this vehicle, there's a lot going on. Now, if you're curious to know about how these seats fold down, this is where they stop. But you can see that there's quite a bit going on here, so you can see why that is most likely as far as the fact that they don't actually fold completely flat, but you do still have quite a bit of storage space behind them. And we'll take our first look into the rear seating area with the light cloud and cinder gray interior. That is, this interior is specific to the SV model. So what you're going to see is your controls here for the seats. These are heated and ventilated seats here in the rear seating area. There is a power shade right here, obviously power windows. You can also control from right here. You can control the functionality of the shade for the panoramic sunroof. And there are a lot of great features here. A nice large door bin right here, quite a bit of space. And we'll hop inside here and take a quick look at what we have as far as the rear screens go. So rear seat passengers can definitely enjoy a lot of different options here. Watch movies, videos, whatever the case is. They can see what's going on in a multitude of different ways with the vehicle. We can get that to work. We're just going to show you what's here right now real quick. Not too much of a demonstration, but you can also go in here and make changes, turn things on and off, change the cabin audio. Quite a bit going on with the brightness as well. If you want to change that, that can be changed right here. Just to show you a quick little view of what is here. And then obviously we're going to have the control center or the command center here for the rear air conditioning system. Whether you're using the fan speed or changing the temperature of the seat, whether using heated or cooled, obviously you also have the air conditioning vents here. Quite a bit of space. These seats do recline quite nicely, and we'll move this up and out of the way. You noticed I just pushed the button right there, and if you're wondering about cup holders, well, there's a lot more than just cup holders right here. So I'm going to close that door real quick just to get rid of some of the exterior noise. So guess what? you also have the screen right here. There is a lot going on with this vehicle. To show you what you can do right here, you can make changes to lighting. I don't know if it's really dark enough in here to really show you much of that, but you can see what's here. The rear screens right there. You can make changes there. You can change different settings depending on what you want to do with all of that. Also with the blinds, you can obviously do that. You can see the nice graphic that goes along with that. And then obviously the seats. So what are you going to do there? Well, it depends. You have a few different options. As you can see, you can use heat. You can also use the massage feature. That is awesome to have here in the back seat. You know, that means we're also going to have the same in the front. And you can see what we have right here. Let me demonstrate this just a little bit. We'll let this come on out. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I'm waiting to see. But you can kind of see on the screen what happens. It's a little slow to do the process, but obviously the seats do recline, and there is one of the reasons why this is taking so long is because it actually moves the front seat up and out of the way. Now you will need to get your feet up there. That is nice. Check that out. So obviously nobody can be sitting in the passenger seat right there. But one of the things about this particular vehicle is that it's really meant, the reason that it's set up this way is that it's really meant to be driven by a chauffeur. You're supposed to be kind of chauffeured around in this, kind of like the Mercedes-Benz Maybach, a very similar setup to that. And so depending on your situation, well, that's what you're going to be looking at. You don't have to use it that way, but you can if you want to. And then we can obviously stow the rest right here, the footrest and all that kind of stuff there if we want to. There is so much going on here. It is absolutely amazing. You also have a little bit of space right here within the center console of this area back here. So depending on your situation, there are a lot of options here in the back seat. Now let's hop up into the front seat and see what you can find up there. And taking a look into the front seat through the passenger side door, I know I didn't demonstrate this on the rear, but obviously you have the nice comfortable armrests. I'll give it the armrest test. I know a lot of the time we tend to poke on it like we're testing for the doneness of a steak, but that doesn't really do as good of a job as actually putting your arm up there and saying, well, it's comfortable or not. But it is a nice large door bin and very nice high-end materials. As you can see here, they are nice and durable. And something that somebody asked me about not too long ago in a video is what vehicles offer seat memory on the driver and the passenger side. Well, as you can see, this Range Rover is one of them because you have seat memory here as well as the adjustments. Those are not located on the side of the seat. And then you're going to have the nice large door bin right there, quite a bit of space, and the Range Rover logo right here, you can see that is illuminated right there on the door sill, and very comfortable and very well designed. As far as the seat design goes, you have the upper and the lower glove boxes here. Here is the upper. It's also going to have a 12-volt power outlet for convenience purposes right there, as well as what we'll have here with the lower glove box, both lined with that nice felt interior right there. And then we'll continue on, obviously, with some very nice high-end materials here. And if you want to conceal away the USB port right there and the wireless charging pad, well, obviously you can do that. It just depends on your situation and what you want to do. You can also do that right here with this cover, and check this out. Here are the cup holders. You can move those out of the way to gain access to additional storage right here. And that's not the only place where you have storage. We'll close that back up. Obviously, you have the multitasking lid for the armrest right here. Now, in this particular case, you do have the center console with the refrigerator built in. That is always a nice feature. There's a couple of different settings for that. That's not coming on right now, but no big deal there. And this is a multitasker because of the fact that, well, it's also an armrest in addition to being the lid for the center console. At 5'10", based on where the seat is currently positioned, yeah, I think that would work for me, but I could actually drop the seat down if I wanted to, changing the height of the seat and that would cure that problem. And a quick look across the dashboard. Don't worry, we're going to talk a lot more about the infotainment screen and the technology from the driver's seat, which we're going to hop into here in just a second. Real quick, I did want to show you, here is the vanity mirror with the lights. There I am behind the camera, and let's see how far back these will go. They actually go quite far back. They completely cover the window. So if you have any issues with sun being on the side of the vehicle, in fact, that's not all we have here. You also have a second option for a shade right here as far as the visor goes, and we'll get that up and out of the way. And with all that horsepower and torque under the hood, well, here we go. The oh crap handle to grab onto if necessary. You know, you might surprise some people with a vehicle that is not only luxurious, but it can also put you back in the seat. By the way, one thing I forgot to mention about the side view mirrors is you also have blind spot monitoring built in. It's not on right now, but just because I saw it earlier and thought, you know what, I better tell everybody about that in case they question that. And unlike most car reviews that I do, vehicle reviews that I do, I can't really say that there's a lot more here on the driver's side than there is on the passenger side, other than a couple of features: controlling all four windows and the side view mirrors. Other than that, pretty much everything is the same because you have some additional functionality over there on the passenger side. And then we'll also have the ability to open the power tailgate right here. You also have a power adjustable steering wheel, tilt and telescopically adjustable. That's going to be found over here, the control for that on the right hand side of the vehicle. And we'll go ahead and start things up because I want to make sure I can show you everything here. A very nice looking digital instrument cluster. You can change things on that and go through a lot of different information. You can also control the functionality of your lighting, exterior lighting, front and rear lights here on this lever. That's also the turn signal indicator. For those of you who don't know what that is, when you push it into the down position, you see that arrow up there that's blinking to the left. Well then, when I push it into the up position, it does the same thing to the right. That corresponds with the blinkers or turn signal indicators on the exterior of your vehicle and lets people around you know what you're doing. Yeah, that's right. It's a novel idea, I know, but it is here. Steering wheel mounted controls, you can see, and again, that flickering effect, I told you earlier why that's happening. It's not because of any defect or anything like that. You can't actually make it do that unless you're looking through the lens of a GoPro. And a very unique look at the steering wheel here as far as the unique look of the steering wheel, I should say. As far as its overall design, you do have these shifter paddles here, and over here the control for the front and rear window wipers. And then really kind of the heart and soul of this vehicle, the 13.1 inch Pivi Pro infotainment screen. Very easy to use. You can go through a lot of information here. I'm telling you what, anything you want to know about the vehicle as far as what's going on with it, you can do that. You can see what you have here in a multitude of different areas. You can go in to see what's going on with your vents, front and rear. You can control things from here. Climate, you can do that as well. I could probably do a video on just the infotainment screen here. And depending on where you're driving, well, guess what? If you need slope assist, you can use that. If you need a compass, you can use that. If you need information on which tire or which wheels, I should say, have traction and which wheels don't, no problem. If you're directionally challenged, there's a compass. There is a lot here. Wade sensing, something I haven't had the chance to demonstrate just yet. I don't know if we'll ever get that chance, but you never know. But it will tell you how deep the water is you're driving through. Let's just say you're going home one day and you live in an area that's prone to flooding and heavy rains, or when it rains real hard, guess what? You'll know if you should drive through or not. But in this case, these Land Rovers, these Range Rovers can definitely handle a lot. There's a lot of capability here that you don't have with most vehicles. So that's a really cool thing. And we'll take a quick look here at what we have with the different options for the screen here. And one of my favorite things to look at here will be the different camera views. Obviously, there are a multitude of views as far as what you can see and where you can see it. If you need to see around your vehicle, just driving around in the treacherous areas of a parking lot, because people are not always very good drivers and maybe they parked a little closer to you than they should have, well, guess what? It's very easy to make sure that you're getting in and out of your parking spaces safely. And there are a multitude of options. You have the off-road view, as you can see right here. That is also going to be beneficial in a multitude of ways. I mean, just anything you want to see, you can pretty much see it right here, whether it's off-road or on-road. I'm going to tell you what, you get a lot for the money here with these models. You can turn the screen off if you need to. You can go into your light theme here. You can turn that to dark theme if you want to. Audio is going to be here as well. You can make changes there depending on your personal preferences. I could probably make a video that is purely on this particular area of the vehicle only. Obviously, you can pair your phone. You have everything here that you could imagine. Obviously, your climate control is down here. Now, I have that turned off just because we don't want anything dripping onto the floor here inside of the dealership in the showroom at Land Rover of Shreveport. But one thing I can show you, obviously, we're going to have our shifter here, and I like the fact that it's made for your hand to fit around very nicely. That's a nice feature. You also will have your park right there. You're going to go into park just by pushing that button. And if you want to change driving modes, well, you can do that depending on what you need to drive in. We'll go through here. We have comfort. We're going to have eco. Run through these real quick. Dynamic, and then we'll run back the other way. We're also going to have our grass mode here, grass, gravel, and snow, and then mud and ruts. I mean, just about everything you could imagine. Sand, if you're driving on a beach somewhere, rock crawl, wade. Everything is here literally. I mean, it doesn't matter what the situation is. This Land Rover Range Rover SV is really going to be able to tackle it in a very aggressive manner. And even though we really just kind of scratched the surface and hit the high points of this 2023 Land Rover Range Rover SV, there's a lot more that we could have covered here. We just hit those high points to show you what's here. If you want to know more, or maybe come in here to Land Rover of Shreveport and buy this model, check out the link down in the description of the video to learn more. So tell me what you think. Do you get the right features for the right price with this particular model? Tell me what your answer is and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I have to say a special thanks to my friends here at Land Rover of Shreveport for the opportunity to show you this Range Rover SV today. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel just yet, please consider doing so. And if you would like to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.